in the last week of 2004 when a tsunami devastated coastal areas in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia and India, taking the lives of 200,000 people and destroying millions of homes. Indian official machinery and civil society immediately swung into action to provide relief assistance not only in India but also in the neighborhood. Within hours of the striking of the tsunami on December 26th, Indian Navy teams were mobilized for search and rescue operations in India's immediate neighbors, Sri Lanka and Maldives. For the next few weeks, India deployed 15 ships and dozens of helicopters and aircrafts around the shattered islands of Sri Lanka and Maldives to provide relief and medical supplies to the devastated and dazed populace. Several medical camps were established. Prime Minister announced composite relief packages of 1 billion for Sri Lanka, 50 million for Maldives and smaller amounts for Indonesia and Thailand. Operation Gambhir was launched to send medical and relief to Indonesia. In order to avoid duplication of relief efforts and for better coordination among various countries, India, along with US, Australia and Japan, formed a core group in the initial days after the tsunami. Later, the task was taken up by the United Nations. Unfortunately, the Indian subcontinent was to witness another huge natural calamity within a year of the tsunami. An earthquake of the magnitude of 7.4 on Richter scale with epicenter near Muzaffarabad in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK, struck in the morning of October the 8th, 2005 and devastated areas in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and northern Pakistan.
Very severe earthquake of 7.6 on the Richter scale, which has caused extensive damage in certain areas of the country.
Entire villages and communities were destroyed.
इंतहाई शदीद किस्म का झटका ज़लज़ले का लगा है और हम फौरी तौर पर तमाम लोग जो बच्चे भी सोए हुए थे इधर उधर उठकर बाहर आ गए हैं और काफ़ी देर तक ये झटके महसूस हुए और आज तक ये ऐसा ज़लज़ला हमने नहीं देखा.
In Jammu and Kashmir, within 30 minutes of the earthquake, Indian Army and Air Force had swung into operation for providing relief in the worst affected areas of Baramulla, Poonch, Kupwara, Srinagar, Tangdhar and Uri in coordination with the state administration and paramilitary forces. In the following days, army columns were deployed in the affected areas. Medical teams were airlifted from Delhi, Chandigarh and Ambala, and tented accommodation with kitchen facilities were established at Uri to provide food and shelter to the affected persons. Truckloads of medicines, blankets, tents and essential equipment were provided and trapped civilians were rescued. Air Force helicopters rescued hundreds from the earthquake-affected areas. The Union government announced ₹1 billion as immediate relief to Jammu and Kashmir to overcome this unprecedented tragedy. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh visited the earthquake-affected areas and assured the people of the state of all assistance and speedy rehabilitation. He also announced an ex gratia amount of ₹100,000 to the next of the kin of the deceased persons.
हिंदुस्तान की सरकार की तरफ से और हिंदुस्तान के 100 करोड़ आवाम की तरफ से आपको यकीन दिलाना चाहता हूं कि इस दुख और दर्द की घड़ी में पूरा मुल्क आपके साथ है और एक बार फिर आपको बसाने के लिए, आपको नए मकान देने के लिए, नए रोजगारों को पैदा करने के लिए जो भी कोशिश करनी चाहिए उसमें हम कोई कोताही नहीं करेंगे।
While India's immediate relief effort concentrated on the Indian side of the line of control, LOC, it was conscious of the enormous tragedy that had unfolded on the other side. Among the first calls that President Musharraf received was from the Indian Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, offering any assistance which Pakistan deemed appropriate.
The day the earthquake occurred, the Prime Minister was actually out of Delhi. But as soon as he returned to Delhi and all the information was available to him, he immediately offered assistance to the people of Pakistan. The Prime Minister spoke to the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Mufti Mohammad Saeed. He also spoke to the President of Pakistan to get a first-hand account of the situation on both sides of the line of control. The Prime Minister was very keen that India should immediately offer whatever assistance was required.
Indian Foreign Secretary Mr. Shyam Saran also spoke to his Pakistani counterpart on the hotline and offered all possible help. The Indian offer of help was neither a fad nor fetish, nor was it to play politics. It was based on purely humanitarian concerns, the considerations of insaniyat. India firmly believed that it had the resources and the expertise to provide relief not only on its own side of LOC but also on the other side. It had an obligation to assist those in need. In the past too, India had provided relief when natural calamities had struck in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Afghanistan, Iran, Armenia and other countries. The magnitude of the earthquake and the scale of destruction in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir was such that help was needed from the entire international community. The need of the hour was that countries join hands in trying to alleviate the suffering of the people, which, after all, was the common suffering of mankind. Thousands were facing the approaching harsh winter without any shelter and food. There was immediate need of providing relief. For the people of India, the heart-rending images of destruction on the Pakistani side were compelling. The common man in India, the government, political parties, civil society, religious groups, everyone was moved to offer help. On October 10th, an Indian aircraft with about 24 tons of food, blankets, tents and medicines left for Pakistan. A train carrying second consignment of 68 tons of relief material consisting 5,000 blankets, 320 tents and 4.5 tons of plastic sheets left Delhi on October the 14th.
We have expressed our solidarity with our neighbor. This is only a little gesture. We are sending medical supplies, blankets and some essential supplies which for medical relief. Our boys have worked hard and we wish our neighbor Pakistan all the very best. In this hour of crisis, in this hour of difficulty, we express our solidarity and we would be very glad to offer any kind of help they require.
Due to tough terrain and destruction, many affected villages on the LOC were inaccessible from the Pakistani side. India offered to mobilize relief supplies across the LOC and to even send foot patrols of medical personnel across. Pakistan request to fly helicopters in the peacetime no-fly zone 1 kilometer along the LOC was speedily acceded to by India on a case-by-case basis. In view of the acute shortage of helicopters, India also offered to provide as many helicopters as Pakistan needed so as to reach relief supplies to remote areas. But Pakistan declined. The people of India could not forget the sheer scale of tragedy across the border. Following the initiative of the government, India's civil society institutions could not be left behind. Indian private sector companies, religious institutions, political parties, industry chambers, and even private individuals sent aid to Pakistan. To facilitate receiving of donations from Indian civil society, Pakistan High Commission in New Delhi was given permission to open a bank account to receive cash donations. The High Commission was also allowed to source material from India and send both by land and air. On October 16th, after Government of India had already sent 2 consignments of relief material to Pakistan, the Delhi Sikh Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee (SGPC) sent its first consignment of 18,000 blankets, 1,500 tents, and 20,000 meters of plastic sheets, bamboos, and ropes to the Pakistan Sikh Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee.
तकरीबन उसमें 40,000 कंबल भेजा था और उसमें 4500 के करीब टेंट जो है हमने भेजे और उसके अलावा 2 टन जो ड्राई मिल्क उन्होंने बोला था 20 क्विंटल वो भेजा और मेडिसिन के तकरीबन उसमें 75 कार्टून हमने पहले 3 दिन के अंदर भेज दिए थे और इस तरीके से हमने राहत का कार्य चालू रखा था। पहले 10,000 कंबल भेजे थे, फिर 14,000 कंबल भेजे। इस तरीके से उन्होंने जैसे जैसे उन्होंने हमें अपनी वो बताई कि इस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है, हमें ये देखते हुए कि कैसे भी करके हमने अपना और पराया में कोई फ़र्क नहीं समझा। जैसे जम्मू कश्मीर में भेजा वैसे ही पाकिस्तान के अंदर भी उनको उसी तरीके से हमने सारा राहत कार्य के लिए भेजी।
The following week, the Jamiat-ul-Ulema-i-Hind too sent blankets and tents for the affected persons in Pakistan.
राहत सामग्री जो हमने पाकिस्तान भेजी सब मिला के जो है 81 लाख रुपए जो है तकरीबन बनते हैं वो। तो ये तो दोनों तरफ की सरकारों ने जो है पूरा सहयोग किया भेजने में, किसी तरह की कोई परेशानी नहीं थी।
The Kashmiris on either side of LOC were eager to know about their relatives and friends on the other side. Government of India set up telecom facilitation centers at Srinagar, Jammu, Uri and Tangadhar so that people in Jammu and Kashmir could contact their relatives and family members on the other side of the LOC on telephone free of charge.
Assist families in Jammu and Kashmir to contact their relatives and family members on the other side of the line of control. The Department of Telecommunications will be setting up 4 telecom facilitation centers at Srinagar, Jammu, Uri and Tangda respectively. These centers will permit people in Jammu and Kashmir who have relatives in Muzaffarabad to contact them on telephone free of charge for the next fortnight.
President Musharraf mooted the idea of opening the LOC. India welcomed the offer and soon decided to set up composite relief and rehabilitation points at 3 places to provide facilities for medical assistance and relief to people from across the LOC. Later, the 2 sides agreed to open crossings at 5 points across the LOC. The people on both sides appreciated the successive opening of the points in November and December 2005 as people crossed over to meet their relatives and relief material was exchanged.
बहुत अच्छा है, मैं मुबारकबाद दे रही हूँ पाकिस्तान ने भी गवर्नमेंट की, हिंदुस्तान ने की भी जिन्होंने ये रास्ता खोलिया असन लोगों वास्ते आसानी हुई है, ये बहुत मुबारक है।
Government of India continued to send relief supplies to Pakistan. It also pledged an assistance of $25 million to Pakistan as part of the $580 million package announced in Geneva on October 26th at the UN International Donors Conference. On November 17th, India sent the third relief train carrying 600 tons of relief material. This brought the total relief sent by India through one aircraft and 3 trains to about 900 tons of relief material valued at approximately $4.7 million. The material consisted blankets, tents, sleeping bags, plastic sheets, medicines, including anti-tetanus injections and pethidine injections. Fortified biscuits and medical equipments like X-ray machines and additional 400 tons of relief materials were sent through the 5 crossing points across the LOC. The total relief material sent by private agencies, government bodies and local and foreign NGOs valued approximately $10.5 million. Two major disasters in the region in 1 year have focused the minds of the people on the issue of disaster management in the region. Through experience, India has developed well-defined institutional mechanisms for disaster management at all levels. A calamity relief fund has been set up in each state, and it is supplemented by a national calamity contingency fund at the central level. There are battalions of paramilitary forces equipped as specialist search and rescue teams. This holistic approach has been extremely useful in dealing with natural disasters. In November, the subject was discussed at the SAARC summit in Dhaka. Minister of State for External Affairs, Mr. E. Imdad, offered to set up a Center for Disaster Management in India. SAARC leaders quickly agreed, conscious of the fact that India's central location, experience, resources and expertise make it a natural leader in any plan to mitigate the impact of a natural disaster in the region. The tsunami and the earthquake in 2 extremities of South Asia have brought to the fore the terrible consequences of natural disasters. It has taught us that no one, rich or poor, India or Pakistan, is immune to the wrath of nature. It has also hopefully taught us that the only power that can work in such circumstances is that of human fellowship and sharing, without regard to national frontiers or ideologies.